The good news is Coach K has this guy, RJ Barrett. He was a one-man wrecking crew Saturday against Syracuse. In addition to those 30 points, he also had 7 assists, which led to another 18 points, and he scored or assisted on 48 of Duke's 75 points, his most in a game this season. And also, he shot at 70% from the field. He was 14 for 20, which is so impressive. I mean, I know that Zion's out, so RJ Barrett has to bear a bigger load, but coming into this season, you liked him, like, hands down.
Yes. I thought he was clearly the #1 pick coming into the season. Now, Zion has created the hype and the buzz because of just how physically dominating he is. But I think when you watch them play, RJ Barrett's skill set, there is a defined position that he can translate into at the next level. You know, when we make the comparisons for Zion Williamson, Zion's great, all right? But as much as we question Kyler Murray because of his size, there might be some reason to question Zion Williamson because of his size as well, as far as his girth and the lack of height that he has. You know, people want to make comparisons to Blake Griffin. He's 3 inches shorter than Blake Griffin. So there's a difference between their games.
Are you telling me that if you had the #1 pick in the NBA draft this coming season, you would seriously consider taking RJ Barrett ahead of Zion Williamson?
I would. I would.
Jalen?
I would. I really would. I know that from the marketing standpoint and from the perspective as far as putting butts in the seat, Zion is going to be the guy that does that and accomplishes that at a much higher level.
It's not as far off as people think, and I know where you're going because I agree with a lot of your points about RJ. Like, he's going to come into the league and translate, no question about it. He can dribble, pass, and shoot. He's an improved three-point shooter as well. But you have the #1 pick. You have to take Zion.
Why? Because on the court reasons or off the court reasons?
Or you're going to get fired. That's why. Because Zion's upside is something that you have to bet on. Like, when you're projecting these young players, a lot of it is what they do now, but you also have to find out about their potential. And if both of these guys are able to maximize their potential, Zion's ceiling should be a lot higher.
Is it fair to say higher floor, higher ceiling kind of a conversation?
Yes.
Like RJ Barrett has a higher floor. He's going to be really good no matter what happens. Zion might turn into something we've never seen before. And what you're saying is you cannot take the risk of missing out on that.
You cannot take the risk of missing out on that.
Are you concerned at all about his inability to consistently knock down a shot from even 17 feet away in a league that demands that you're a shooter?
Absolutely. I was the person that, you know, had a lot of things to say about Zion's game that he needs to work on for this entire season while still appreciating how he's dominating collegiate basketball. But however, if you have the #1 overall pick, Zion Williamson's potential is so very high, you have to bet on it. But I agree with you. RJ Barrett will probably be Rookie of the Year next season.
You know, people thought that the ceiling was high on like guys like Lonzo Ball, and Magic Johnson said, hey, he's going to break all the records. Well, Jason Tatum's pretty good too. You know, and I think that RJ Barrett has the ability to be like that type of player.
Listen. It's just like last year. DeAndre Ayton was the #1 pick. Are we talking about him right now? No, we're talking about Luka Doncic.
Right.
Because he was the most well-rounded player.
Yep.
The best skill set coming into the game, and instantly is going to make an impact. And we're going to be talking about him for Rookie of the Year. And I think that's the comparison to Zion, maybe, and RJ.
But the other point that has to be made in this is that basketball becomes secondary when it comes to Zion, right? So the second you draft Zion Williamson, every team in the league would do it.
Printing money.
Because you're printing money. Because your seat is filled every
Mm-hmm.
single night. Your jerseys sell out and all that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean, to your point, that RJ isn't the Rookie of the Year and that 10 years from now, RJ Barrett isn't the best player in this draft.
I'm not mad at that. And don't sleep on Cam Reddish. He's going to translate as well. He's going to be a knockdown shooter instantly. But for Zion, it's going to be a lot of situation. At Duke, he normally is their largest player out there. He's playing the 5, to your point. So in the league, he's going to be garnering minutes at the 5 spot. At 6'7", he's going to be shorter than the people that he goes against almost every night.
But can you do that if you're heavier?
These guys understand how to use their length and their height. Anthony Davis, Joker, DeMarcus Cousins. There's so many bigs that are able to function but still be good with their feet.
This, to me, is a fascinating conversation because there's the on-court piece and very much the off-court piece.